Hey everyone, how you doing? This is Amon Green, Green Bay Packers all-time leader in rushing, and you're watching Packers Total Access Live, your daily source for Packer content. Go Pack, go!
What's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. You can also find our Overflow channel wherever you get podcasts. If you want this show in podcast form, make sure you search Packer Fan, one word, Packer Fan Total Access, and you'll be able to find it on all the major platforms. I got Tim joining me here live from a balmy Green Bay, Wisconsin, as we're going to dive into some off-season talk. And we're going to do something a little bit different today, gang. This is really, really awesome. There's a new tool that's available to us. You can check it out over at sticktothemodel.com. And I want to give a shout out to the creator of that. If you guys go to my X feed at Packers_access, you will find a tweet pinned at the top of the page, and we've got him tagged in it. It's at Stick to the Model, and make sure you guys go give him a follow. This is an awesome tool. I'm excited to start utilizing a little bit. Now, listen, I know there's going to be people that, not necessarily in our chat, but later they will comment and go, well, they're off by $1 million on that. They're off by $4 million on that. Listen, I can go to Over the Cap. It's showing a different salary cap space than Spot Track. And both of those are showing a different cap space from Stick to the Model. Nobody's going to have it absolutely perfect, okay? And if they do got it perfect, it's not enough to really sway it one way or another. So we'll kind of lay out, I don't know, the space that we have to work within to make this cap work. And the whole point of the show tonight, gang, is to, in rapid fashion, go through the entire offseason. We're going to start with cap management, okay? We're going to look at the current roster, look at our cap space that Stick to the Model is showing that we have. We're going to do what we got to do to maneuver underneath that cap to be able to be a little bit creative in free agency. All right. And we've got a few guys that are on the radar in terms of free agents. Then we're going to shift gears to the draft. Okay. So you're going to get cap management in one segment. You're going to get free agency in another segment. And then you're going to get a live mock draft, 7-round mock draft here along the way as well. Now, listen, when we get outside of the 5th and 6th round, around that mark, we're not going to spend a whole lot of time making picks. We'll just kind of go by need, what it's showing best available. But up to that point, we are going to utilize the PTA big board and try to give everybody an idea of where the value truly lies. Now, before we get into all that, if you guys would do me a great big favor, do that YouTube stuff for me. Hit like, hit subscribe. If this is your first time tuning into PTA, welcome. Thank you for making us a part of your evening. We are not experts. We're not insiders. We're not media members. We're fans just like you, talking Packers on a daily basis. So if you are looking for that type of content, hit like, subscribe, click the bell icon, and that way you'll be on here every time we go live. Tim, you ready to do this, man? You ready to jump into the off season here a little bit?
Yeah, might as well. It's Super Bowl Eve, and we ain't playing in it, so let's go, man. Let's do it.
Thanks for reminding me, Tim. It is what it is. All right, let's start off. And again, this may be a little hard for you guys to see. I'm doing the best I can with the side. It's kind of small font here. I'll explain what we're looking to do. So the first aspect is cap management. What it starts you off, you select a team. We've already done that. And now you're in the cap management stage, step 1 of the offseason here at Stick to the Model. All right. So got a multitude of things we can do to free up cap space. You'll notice at the top, actually, it's being covered up right now, which is hilarious. It's perfectly covered up by the Packer fan logo. That's okay, though. $10.7 million is what they're showing we are over the cap, okay? Now, like I said, we're going to kind of draw a comparison, a parallel with the other sites, all right? The other sites here, over the cap has us at about $2 million, $1.5 to $2 million over the cap, so almost flush, right? Spot Track has us at $4.5 million over the cap. Okay, so this is a little bit more than that. I say that because we're going to cut it kind of close. Keep in mind the Packers will probably want to generate or keep about $7 million operating money. 7 to 10 is kind of that sweet spot of space you want as you go into training camp. So you got some maneuverability, if you will, right? So we'll treat it as such. We'll cut it a little bit closer, knowing that, say, with over the cap here, saying we're only $2 million under the cap. Let's say we keep it at $4 million under the cap here with Stick to the Model. We're actually going to be somewhere between $8 to $10 million under the cap. If that makes sense. So let's dive into it. So here's the way I would approach it, and I want to see what everybody says in the chat as well. Tim, I'm going to bounce these ideas off of you. We've got 5 different moves that we could make to free up some cap space that seem very interesting to me. Okay, first things first. If it were me, I'm cutting Elgton Jenkins. Okay, I'm going to cut him. and let him go test free agency. Now, we may sign him back if the market isn't there for him, although we won't be doing that on this particular episode here. Okay. Just keep that in mind. Just because we're cutting Elgton Jenkins doesn't mean he shouldn't be on the roster. He should not be on the team, but it's just too much space to free up right now. So if we go over here and we go ahead and hit cut, you'll see we're going to free up $19.5 million with that one cut. Okay. So we're going to cut Elgton Jenkins, make him a free agent. Now you'll notice we're $8.8 million under the cap. Okay. So we freed up some space there. Next is Aaron Banks. And this one's kind of tricky, Tim, because, we want to be able to spend some money in free agency this year. So if we were to just cut him outright this year, then we would have an extra $4 million against, towards the cap, if you will. Now, what I would like to see them doing, what I think the Packers would truly do if they do decide to move on, is go post June 1. So you'll have a little more cap space to maneuver with as you get, after or behind the June, deadline, the June date, if that makes sense. So if you approach it that way, you don't get that $4 million right now. So we're kind of splitting hairs in this regard. But what we're going to do here is we're going to go ahead and cut Aaron Banks as well and free up that $4.2 million. Again, some people may think they want to keep Aaron Banks. That's fine. I understand that standpoint as well. You could restructure and try to free up some money. We'll talk about restructures next. But that's the moves I would make. Now, people are going, hold up, Clayton. We just got younger on the roster by doing this. That's if you don't sign free agents. But also, those are two of our best offensive linemen, are they not? I disagree. There's no way anyone's going to convince me that Elgton Jenkins is worth $24.8 million against the cap as it sits right now, Tim. I don't know how you feel, but that's definitely how I see that. I don't like the idea of bringing him back for anything really more than $10 million against the cap, to be honest with you.
I love Big E, but I would agree with that. It's not 3 or 4 years ago anymore, so I'm with you. We'll see. And honestly, we saw how camp went last year. He tried to play a little hardball, and we see how that worked. So, for all we know, he's got 1 foot out the door as it is. So I'm with you. Time to move on.
Yeah, Chester Marco says, I think Jenkins' fate was decided even before he got hurt. I completely agree. We talked about it as soon as he did the hold in because they didn't want to restructure the contract and give him more, security, more guaranteed money. We talked about like this is probably going to be Elgton's last year with the Packers. Now, again, the injury definitely doesn't help. So I agree with you there, Chester, for sure, man. All right. So with that being said, let's talk about restructures. This is the one that's going to get a lot of pushback. Rashan Gary. Okay. If you were to cut Rashan Gary, you could free up $10.3 million. Okay. Just by cutting him outright. However, if we do a restructure, just a simple restructure here, a standard restructure, we could free up $8.4 million against the cap and keep Rashan Gary. Now, it does not give me the ability on this side, to the best of my knowledge, to be able to do a pay cut restructure. You can do that on over the cap site and this and that. I want to be very clear. The only way I would want to keep Rashan Gary was if we could for him to take a pay cut. We guarantee a little bit more money as well to make it worth his time, lower that cap number way down. This is the closest we're going to get to it here. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it with the void year, although we know they wouldn't do that. They're not just going to, tack on a voidable year and let's move the money out, so to speak. They're going to want to get some of that money back from Rashan Gary, if that makes sense, Tim. So I want to be very clear. I would want a pay cut for Rashan Gary, not just a restructure, but we're being forced to kind of do the restructure here. Does that make sense?
It does. And honestly, with the void year spread over 3 years, adding a void year versus the standard 2 years, it's a 2-year deal, right? Either way, one of them's a dummy year. So got to do what we got to do right now.
And I know there's many people that disagree with me, Tim, and Chester here. Chester says a restructured Gary, in my opinion, is good value. I completely agree. I think we're in the minority, though, fellas. And again, we know how it gets loud sometimes and this and that. I think the majority of Packer fans would say, nope, just get him off the team. I don't want him. I can't do that. There's no way that I could just throw that to the side and not explore the option of keeping him because, again, 12.5% quarterback pressure percentage. He had the highest quarterback pressure percentage on the team of the starters, obviously, other than our boy Micah Parsons. He also led the edge room in run stops. And again, yes, he had less snaps this year. It does seem like the age and the injuries have kind of caught up with him a bit. But if you can get him back at a discounted rate, I think that helps that room tremendously. And again, we're a little shorthanded at 3-tech. We've talked about in the draft process, it's going to be, I mean, really, really hard to find a 3-tech in the draft at any point where we're picking where you go, hey, he might be able to compete with Devontae White and get significant playing time. So Rashan Gary maybe playing a little 3-tech along with LVN is something we could use as well. Or when Gary's on the edge opposite Micah, having LVN play the 3-tech and then moving Devontae White to the 1 or the 2-tech when we're in our nickel set. So I just wanted to point that out, okay? So again, we're going to restructure that. We're going to free up $11.2 million there. So now we're $24.2 million under the cap. We're not done yet. All right, we're going to go Xavier McKinney, contract restructure, just a standard restructure, or we could go with avoidable year. We'll go standard. Let's free up another $1.5 million, okay? And then one more restructure here is Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs going to the restructure. We really could get away with not doing the restructure with Xavier McKinney, but we're going to go tack on avoidable year with Josh Jacobs and free up another $6 million this year as well, Tim. So again, quick recap in terms of the restructures. We restructured Rashan Gary's. We restructured Xavier McKinney and Josh Jacobs, okay? And then, of course, we cut Elgton Jenkins. We cut Aaron Banks pre-June 1 to get that money right away. And this is what I'm talking about. You probably have enough room, enough space that you could actually just carry Aaron Banks' cap hit until June. That way you free up more money there post-June 1, but we're not going to go that route, obviously. So with that being said, that's where we're sitting now is we took the cap from being according to stick to the model. And again, everybody's a little bit different here. They were $10 million over the cap, the Packers were. Now we're $31.7 million under the cap, ready to hit free agency. Tim, is there any move that we did there that you maybe disagree with, that you would have liked to, maybe there's someone else you'd like to have seen us maybe restructure a little bit as well?
No, I'm really happy with the plan with Rashan, because I'm in that same group like we talked about. I think you agree. I think him restructured, playing another 2 or 3 years here minimum, sets us up in a pretty good spot, because he does bring some versatility, and I know he's not a fan favorite, by any means apparently anymore. But this guy right here, still love me some Bane Gary, and he makes your defense better. So keeping him around, and then the two key moves there with X and Josh Jacobs too makes a lot of sense. So yeah, we're ready to hit free agency now, and with some money in our pocket, right?
Absolutely. And as Jen Wright said, Gary was an inside rusher at Michigan. Really would like to see him play that instead if he takes a deal. Completely agree. Kick him inside.
They're going to have him put on some weight again? They have him cut up, and now they're going to have him bulk up again?
I feel like I'm watching 1,000-Pound Sisters or something, bro. I mean, they got that dude going up and down the way.
Yep.
Now, really, when you look at it, when you look to his strengths, what Gary does well, he's a power rusher. Like, he will walk tackles right back into the quarterback, right? He's not that dude that's going to get out there on the edge and have a lot of quick wiggle. Although his RAS was through the roof when they drafted him, he's definitely not that same athletic specimen since the ACL there. But again, Jen Wright, I love the idea there. And then you can play him at a 5-tech occasionally and this and that. Will the Packers do that? Only time will tell. Again, I know there's going to be people that disagree, and those people that disagree, you'll probably be right. I wouldn't be surprised if the Packers just cut him outright. This is just my opinion, how I would approach the roster. Because what I would hate to see happen is you cut Gary outright, or you trade him or whatever for just a potential pick, whatever, not a comp pick, but what do they call it? Condition pick, right? Conditional pick, I should say. If you approach it that way, and then all of a sudden, let's say LVN goes down with an injury. Or let's say, insert a name. Someone goes down with an injury, and now all of a sudden it's Micah Parsons just getting double teamed, and you don't have Rashan Gary opposite that. I would much rather have Gary opposite that of a conditional 6th-round pick or a conditional 7th-round pick or what have you. That's just me personally. So, and here Packer super fan Mike says trade Gary, even a 7th-rounder would be acceptable. See, that's where I could not disagree more there personally. But again, I know how Mike feels about him. You guys know how I feel about him. We can all agree to disagree there for sure. iRock says, Clayton, I love you, brother, but I don't want Gary. That right there, other than the love you, brother, I think most fans would agree with that post right there, Tim. That's the vibe I get is maybe we need to do that as a poll question on Twitter, because every time that I'm ready to concede that, man, I think the fan base disagrees with me here, we put a poll up and I go, nope, they're right there with us. So maybe we need to do that. That one I do feel like it would go in that direction. But appreciate you, iRock. You're the man. All right, so if you guys are watching this clip back here, we're going to continue on, okay? So look for the next video, and that is going to be where we do the free agency period, okay? But I wanted to break this down into a separate video. That way, those who are watching back, you can let us know in the comments, how do you feel about what we restructured there? How do you feel about us cutting Elgton, Jenkins, Aaron Banks, and then restructuring Rashan, Gary, Xavier McKinney, Josh Jacobs? We want to hear from you in the comments. Make sure you hit like, make sure you hit subscribe, and click the bell icon so you know when we go live in the future. All right, Tim, you ready to move on to free agency, sir?
Let's do it, man. Let's spend some of this money, man. We just freed up some money. Let's spend some, right?
All right, let's do it. So now it takes you to the trade screen. Not going to even mess with it. You guys know how big of a crapshoot that is. You got to make the cap work for both teams and blah, blah, blah. I just feel like it's very, very unrealistic. If they make a trade, cool. We'll cover it when it happens. I just don't like to get into that stuff, to be honest with you. So now free agency. The first stage of free agency here, Tim, is re-signing your own players, okay? I feel comfortable saying we're going to let all these guys walk other than Trayvon Diggs, who we've already cut. On here, they're still showing him in the re-sign stage, if you will, but he's actually an unrestricted free agent, if I understood correctly. So that's a little bit off on their site, but no big deal. So what we'll do is look to re-sign him, and that's one of the guys I would like to see the Packers sign. His previous average annual value is $19 million per. His market value is fluctuating. Some people are saying it's going to be around 6. Others are going to say it's around 12. This site has it right there in the middle at about 8.2. Okay, so that is definitely a player that I would like to sign to fix the cornerback room, Tim. And I don't know how you feel about it. That's the guy that's on my radar in terms of, hey, let's get him back on the roster.
I think that's the first step possibly to I don't know if I go as far as say he's going to fix the room, but having a player like Trayvon Diggs in your secondary brings some of that veteran presence. And especially if we're able to get him somewhere in that range, you know, if he's under 10 milli, you know, he can add a lot of value these next couple of years as we make a push, and then also help, you know, developing some of our younger guys and, you know, whoever we pick up in the draft this year. So we'll see what happens, but I'm all for getting Trayvon Diggs back in the fold for the right money.
Yeah, it's just wild because Trayvon Diggs is showing, you know, $8.5 million. Eric Stokes is at 11.7.
That's insane.
I'm telling you, I know Eric Stokes played much better this past year, but me personally, if you had me choose between Trayvon Diggs and Eric Stokes, I'm going with Trayvon Diggs. That's just me. Again,
Stokes is 27. How old is Diggs?
Oh, that's a good question. Diggs is 28.
Yeah, so it's not a super huge age difference, right? As far as
right.
You know, miles on the tread or anything. But yeah, I would think that I don't know. That seems kind of shocking to me. No disrespect to Eric Stokes Jr., but that seems a little inflated.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so we're going to go Trayvon Diggs here. And again, we're going to give him what he's offering or what he's asking just to make it realistic. We're going to do 8.2. Let's see if he'll take a 3-year deal. Okay, a 3-year deal is really a 2. It's a 2 with a club option of a third is how we look at that. So if we do that, we make that offer. Bang, he accepted it. So we have signed
man his money.
we have signed Trayvon Diggs at cornerback. All right. So there is some veteran presence in your cornerback room. Notice we didn't say we were going to cut Keyshawn Nixon. People are going, Clayton, what are you talking? You have dog. You've been talking about you want him off the roster. I completely understand where you're coming from, right? I'm as pissed as at anyone. But to just free up $7 million, and the reality is, as bad as he ticked me off with the personal fouls, as bad as he ticked me off biting on the double moves, as bad as he ticked me off with that goal line situation there, which if I'm this new coaching staff, the first thing I'm doing is Jonathan Gannon and Bobby Babich. I'm sitting down with Keyshawn. Don't do it in public. Don't do it around the team. Sitting down in a room and putting that clip on repeat and going, what the hell is this? You understand? This is unacceptable, right? And then move forward. But again, freeing up $5 million to get rid of the guy who led the league in pass breakups, right? Yeah. Whether we like it or not, he made the Pro Bowl. Take that for however you wish. I'm not saying he is a good corner, but he's definitely an above average corner. And at only $5 million in cap space saved, and obviously a cap hit of $7 million, I'm going to keep him unless, of course, we were to sit down with him in a room like that, being Bobby Babich and Jonathan Gannon, and all of a sudden he says, no, there ain't nothing wrong with what I put on tape. Then your ass is gone, right? So I want to be very clear. Does that make sense, Tim?
It does. I mean, we talked about that, and like you said, for the little bit of money we would save, it may put us further behind the 8 ball in that cornerback room. So, you guys know I've been a K9 fan too. We can't it's one of those things. When he's on, and when he's off, right? And it can be extremely frustrating. But I think there's room with this new staff and room for Keyshawn in that room, honestly. So, yeah, not to save a couple million, lose him. No.
Right. And Jen Wright says, can he just be a kick returner? That's the other thing, too, is that extra added value. We've seen him return kicks late in the year there. Right? I want to say it was in the playoffs or whatever. You have 1 or 2 returns. So I would definitely, that's a conversation I would have there, too. Listen, you're not CB1. You're going back to returning kicks, and you're going to be a backup corner for us would be my approach. So, and here's the thing. I say backup corner, but you're going to let Carrington Valentine and Keyshawn Nixon battle it out for the number 2 corner spot. You're going to let everybody battle for a starting position. But I would like Trayvon Diggs on one side and whoever wins the camp battle between Carrington Valentine and Keyshawn Nixon on the other, unless we draft a corner, which, spoiler alert,
we're probably
looking to draft a corner.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I'm looking to do it with the 52nd pick. We'll talk about that in a minute. Now, people were going, hold up, Clayton. You said we need offensive line. We just cut 2 offensive linemen, too. Glad you mentioned that.
But if we don't take a corner at 52, we might not get one.
Exactly. And every draft is different, right? And all the information that we've been collecting here, doing all these mock drafts, it's suggesting that you better get cornerback at 52 or you're going to be in no man's land later throughout the draft. Now, with that being said, what are we going to do about offensive line? Remember all the negative Nancy's. There's no way you can afford Tyler Linderbaum. There's no way you can do that, right? Well, let's find Tyler Linderbaum real quick. If we can find him on this list, I think there he is. Bang. They're showing his market value at $16.8 million per. Now, there's going to be some people that say he'll get more than 20. He'll get, whatever, 18. Let's look at the cap. We're $23.5 million under the cap right now. Let's say we sign Tyler Linderbaum to a 4-year, $16.8 million deal, exactly what he's asking here. Okay, so we'll give him exactly what he wants on 4 years, make the offer. He accepted it. All right, we're going to confirm the signing. And now, Tim,
that man his money.
You just went and got an all-pro caliber center. That's going to be your starting center now. Bang, think about it. Jordan Morgan, left tackle, where he played his best football at the tackle position. Right tackle, Zach Tom. Center, Tyler Linderbaum. Tier 1 important tackles. Tier 2 center, and to me, you have completely revamped this offensive line just like that.
And now we can go into the draft and grab a corner early because we shored up the problem at center.
Bingo. And on top of that, Tim, we can still grab an offensive lineman, right? Because we need a left guard now, right? So, and that's not to say that we wouldn't try to bring back Sean Ryan. I want to say his market value is showing like $11 million on here or something. I ain't paying that for Sean Ryan. I ain't gonna do it. I love Nacho Libre, don't get me wrong, but can't do it. Can't have it happen, right? So we're 6.7, all right, under the cap right now. We talk about $7 to $10 million operating money for the next year. Okay, we're at 6.7. We're sitting pretty. Now, notice, Tim, we did let Quay Walker walk in free agency, right? I want to look at his number real quick and see with this model where we just did some restructuring and got a little bit aggressive with the cap, what would it take to bring Quay back? They're showing $10.4 million as his cap hit. Okay, so we do not have enough money to bring back Quay Walker. So if the question now becomes, would you rather have Quay Walker at 10.4 or would you rather have Tyler Linderbaum at 16.5? I'm going Tyler Linderbaum over Quay Walker. Okay, Trayvon Diggs. If we hadn't signed Trayvon Diggs, we could have run Quay Walker back and we'd be at about $3 million under the cap. But now we're really hurting at corner. And again, we've got an opportunity to make corner a much, much stronger position this year because we got Trayvon Diggs. On top of that, we're going to try to nab one in the draft too. So how do you feel about that? Does that make sense as to why I wouldn't? Again, this is my model, why I would not re-sign Quay Walker. Now, if he hits free agency, Tim, and the market ain't there and you can get him at $7 million or $6 million, restructure a couple contracts and go get Quay. I'm all right with it. But how do you feel about it?
No, I agree. And I think, as much as I love Quay, anyone who's watched this show more than once knows that that's my dude. But I do think when he tests the market, he's gonna get north of 10 million. He'll probably be around a 12 range or better, and he'll get his money, and good for him. But at the end of the day, you asked, in comparison to getting Linderbaum here, I think it is kind of a no-brainer. Like, I think our defense will survive, especially with the talent we have in the middle there. And, you never know. We might snag a stack backer in this draft too, as well, or maybe pick one up in free agency. Who knows? So I'm okay with that because we have to get better on O-line. We've got to figure out center. You've got a J Money, the dime thrower under center, he needs to know who that's going to be, and it's got to be consistent, and it's going to help us offensively. So as much as I'd hate to see Quay Walker walk, I think it's time for him to do that and test the market.
Yeah. And again, you might be able to nab one in free agency that you would consider a better linebacker than him. But it's just one of those situations where I would rather move on and get Tyler Linderbaum, and then you address linebacker in the draft a little bit. And listen, I know people don't want to hear this. Let me hit this real quick. Solder says if they gave Linderbaum $22 million a year, I would be okay with it. I agree, because that $22 million a year, the first year cap hit is probably going to be 17, 18 million, right? And of course, you'll be able to maneuver the cap as you move forward. The cap is skyrocketing. We've got a ton of cap space next year as it sits right now. There's going to be some adjusting that needs to take place as those roster bonuses come due, obviously. But all that comes into play. Now, when it comes to Quay, I know there's some people that, well, how are you going to replace Quay? I think right here, Mike says, if you let Quay go, you better have a plan on a replacement. He's not on the roster. I disagree. Now, again, I'm not saying that Isaiah McDuffie is an all-pro linebacker. I'm not saying he's a great linebacker. But what I am saying is, in my opinion, he played better than Quay Walker last year. Now, again, what am I determining that on? When you look at the PFF grade, well, PFF isn't everything. Look at the passer rating when targeted. Quay Walker's passer rating when targeted, he ranked in the hundreds, I believe it was. Horrible in pass coverage. That's just the way it shook out this year. That has nothing to do with PFF. That's all NFL Pro data. Now, Isaiah McDuffie, 18th in the league in terms of passer rating when targeted. Again, I don't like the idea of having to go out there with Isaiah McDuffie as your starter. I want to be able to improve that aspect as well. But I like Isaiah McDuffie more than I like Quay Walker as it sits right now. That's just me personally. And again, if you can get Quay at the right price, I would be all about that. All about that, right? Chris says that was supposed to be Quay's expertise. It's a lot deeper than that, Chris. Like,
it has been in the past, but we didn't see it last year.
Yeah, Quay. What I've noticed watching Quay, and I've had the privilege of watching every snap that he's played since he's been in the league. His superpower is flipping his hips and covering the seam in a Tampa 2. He can do that, and he's got the athleticism, he's got the height, he's got the reach, the wingspan, everything there to do that. That's his superpower, okay? Yes, he gets a lot of tackles. A lot of those tackles are not at the depth you want, okay? They're not stops, so to speak, for the most part. It's more of a tackling a guy 5-6 yards down the line of scrimmage, beyond the line of scrimmage. Now, with all that being said, when you look at that being his superpower and then his passer rating when targeted is kind of what Chris is saying, that's what makes it tough. That's what makes it a tough sell for me. It's like, okay.
And how much Tampa 2 is Gannon going to run?
Right. Exactly. We don't know. If we're going to be in quarters the majority of the time, guess what that means, guys? He's going to be sitting in a mid-zone, a mid-hook curl zone, okay? And in that mid-hook zone, he's going to be reading the 2 and the 3 and needing to clamp down quick. That's what Quay hasn't done well. He hasn't really fired his shot. You can tell he hasn't been comfortable making those decisions. So the other answer, too, is you got a third-round pick in Tyron Hopper. Like,
and he's got to see the field. He has to see the field at some point, right?
He's got to, because when we've seen him on the field, Tim, he looked good. We didn't come away going, oh no, I see why they got him on the bench now. I came away going, give me some more of that, because preseason he dominated, right? And then down the stretch there, I want to say his PFF grade was higher than all the other stack backers on the team, other than Edgerrin Cooper, of course. So when you take that into consideration as well, Tyron Hopper, Isaiah McDuffie, and then get a late round linebacker in the draft is kind of what I'm looking at with the linebacker room.
And McDuffie's your green dot, and you go from there. It's a good start, right?
Yeah, I think so too, man. Again, it's a good foundation. It allows you to shore up offensive line. Again, the biggest problem last year were injuries and our offensive line play. Again, that's why I don't want to put too much money in the stack backer position and ignore those other great needs. So again, quick recap, guys. What we did in free agency was we went out and signed Trayvon Diggs, 2-year, $8 million per, or actually a 3-year, $8 million per. And then we got Tyler Linderbaum, 4 years, $16.8 million per. So you shored up center. You got you a nice little piece, a good discounted piece, in my opinion, at the cornerback position, and now you're ready to head into the draft. So again, we cut Elgton Jenkins, we cut Aaron Banks, we restructured Gary, restructured McKinney, restructured Josh Jacobs, freed up enough space to go get Trayvon Diggs and Tyler Linderbaum in free agency. If you guys are watching this video back later, let us know in the comments, how do you feel about what we did in free agency here? How do you feel about Trayvon Diggs? How do you feel about Tyler Linderbaum? Are there players at that same position you would rather have had? Hit us up in the comments, hit like, subscribe, click the bell icon for us. We greatly appreciate it. All right, Tim, now it's draft time, baby. It is draft time. So we're going to move on to the draft. All right, we're going to go full draft, 7 rounds. All right, we're going to go really, really quick with this too. We're just going to simulate all the picks other than ours, of course, all right? And we're going to jump right into a 7-round mock draft. Now, keep in mind, this is the value that they've got that this site has these players listed at. I've got my PFF big board. Tim, if you do you have your PTA big board handy by chance? Or no?
I do not.
Okay,
I do not have it up yet.
No worries at all. We're not going to spend a whole lot of time trying to absolutely nail this draft. We're just going in with the specific needs now of knowing that we signed Trayvon Diggs, we signed Tyler Linderbaum. Okay, so the top needs that we have, in my opinion, in really no particular order, but we've got. Let's see here. Where do I get the needs listed? We had center listed. We're going to wipe that off now. So we're going to go cornerback, offensive line, defensive tackle, linebacker, and tight end.
Tight end, right?
Yeah, those are our needs. So again, whatever order in which the draft falls for us here, I'm okay with taking these players where they need to be taken. But let's get it cranked up and see how this thing unfolds. Poor Fernando Mendoza. He will be a Raider once again. God love his heart. Watch him go out there and do what Drake May did and turn that franchise around real quick. That'd be absolutely awesome. All right, so here we are, guys. Pick 52. Pick 52. We don't really need a center now, but we're still going to include interior offensive line. Keep in mind, we went and got Trayvon Diggs, but we still need corner. We cannot neglect corner. We're still looking for our starting corner, right? Like, we're looking for that dude that, okay, he's that dude that within a year or two, that's going to be our number one corner. If you can get him at 52, that would be absolutely awesome. Let's start with cornerbacks here, Tim. And here's how it's shaken out. I love their mock draft because it does it different every time. And I've never seen 2 of them that were the same. Top corners available: Julian Neal out of Arkansas, Davison Mbugnosum, I think I'm saying it right, from Ohio State. You got Malik Muhammad, and you got Traden Stukes, Chandler Rivers, Devin Moore, just to name a few. So I'm going to go through here and just rattle these off real quick in our draft board and see if we can figure out where they are ranked. So Julian Neal is ranked 95th on our board. That would be a bit of a reach for us here, right?
Yep.
We'll call him Igby. All right. Igby is 111. So right now, Julian Neal is the best. Malik Muhammad. We got Malik Muhammad at 216, nowhere near what we need. So it's already dropping off. Stukes, 164. Okay. Chandler Rivers, he is 77th. So that's our best pick right now. Out of the guy. And again, the consensus big board had him at 98. The PFF big board had him at 68. In 2024, this is a Jaden Reed effect here. In 2024, he was the 3rd highest graded cornerback in all of college football. In 25, he dropped to 99th. But that fits that Jaden Reed mode. If we were sticking to the board right now, Tim, and we were just making ourselves take a cornerback, it would be Chandler Rivers out of Duke is who it would be right here. Now,
sounds to me like the pick is in.
Let's take a look, though. Let's make sure we're not missing out on better value, because it might make sense to go offensive line. Keep in mind, we are still looking for a left guard, right, guys? We're still looking for a left guard. So right now, as it sits, let me make a note here. Chandler Rivers is going to be our pick unless something else shakes out big time. And I'm going to try to do this in rapid fashion. Again, the later rounds, we're not going to spend as much time on this, okay? But interior offensive line, offensive tackle, let's see who pops up here. Connor Lew, center, ACL not available till September or October probably. We'll pass on that. Blake Miller, let's see where we got some of these guys at. Blake Miller is an offensive lineman, 44 on our big board, Tim. 44.
So that would be better value then, right there.
And you know how the Packers like to kick their guys inside. So I know some people are going, that's a tackle, that's a tackle. We've been here. We know how this goes, right? So Blake Miller would be 44, would be the best pick. Isaiah World is 93rd. All right. Moving on down.
Julian
Besantis is 107. We already found Neal. He's definitely below Chandler Rivers.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. And then of course you've got let's see, Austin Barber. Let's see how he's looking. He's 88th, so that's a little bit better, but nowhere near where we've got Blake Miller at, right? And then, of course, Jake
What about
Slaughter.
our boy Jake Slaughter? He could play a little guard, right?
Now, see, this is what sucks. He's in the 48 spot, Tim, but we already signed Linderbaum. True. Can he play guard? Can Jake Slaughter play guard? If he can, run the pick. 44, that's a great place to take him, right? I think he was 40. Let me double check here.
That would be an ideal situation, right? He's able to play left guard.
48.
You know,
yeah, it would. You're right.
It'd be ideal, and then you've got a backup center built in, right? So you got a left guard, and if something happened to Linderbaum, you've got a guy that can plug into center, hopefully pretty seamlessly.
Yeah, they're showing him as a center. Let's see if it says anything about him potentially moving around. I know they cross-trained him at the combine. I'm just trying to see. I don't see anything in terms of it saying, "Hey, look, he's going to play guard or he can project a guard." So this is going to be a tough decision.
That turns Goody off of him, right? We know Goody likes the versatile guys, especially on the line. So,
yep,
yeah.
So it's tough, man, because again, we said Blake Miller would be the better pick. I think he's actually a little bit higher than Jake Slaughter, so that would make that easier for us. Yeah, he's at 44, so that makes it a lot easier. Blake Miller would be the pick at tackle. Let's just see. Brian Parker's down there at 99, Tim. Let's see where Brian Parker is. Now, he's at 66, okay, and the Packers have met with him. Obviously, he's projected to play center or guard because of the length of his arms. So, to me, it's a no-brainer. It comes down between cornerback Rivers, okay, and I want the chat. You guys get ready. You got to help us with this. We're going cornerback Rivers, or we're going to go Blake Miller, offensive tackle, okay? So
Soder in the chat says Miller already.
Miller is hands down the better pick, right? He's in the 44
value.
spot, right? Rivers is Chandler Rivers is 77, so it's better value for Blake Miller. Now here's the issue, guys, and if we pass on Rivers right here, we're in no man's land on corner.
Yeah, how do we get a corner? We either take it now or we don't take one, right?
We're essentially saying if we don't take Rivers here, all right, guys, we're going out there with Trayvon Diggs, Carrington Valentine, Keyshawn Nixon. That's what we're doing, okay? Now, also, we're picking 52 here. So if you go Chandler Rivers, you're reaching like 20-some picks. So Blake Miller is definitely sticking to the board. This is the perfect scenario where you could probably trade back, okay? Probably trade back. But again, we're not going to do that for time's sake. Someone asked about Devin Moore, and Devin Moore on the board. Let me look at Devin Moore real quick. Devin Moore on our board. This is why I love doing this stuff. See, we got him at 181, okay? So, and again, I'm not saying that anybody's incorrect and our board is perfect, but going off of our board, and you guys know by now if you watch this show regularly, this is how we build our board. I would have to pass on Moore right now. If you're saying, Jay, maybe a little later, I get it, right? I get it. So, yeah, I think everybody is pretty much, not everybody, but the majority of people are saying Miller, right? That's what it's looking like.
Mike says Miller. Pack Superfan says Miller.
Yeah. And then now that I do want to acknowledge the river, right?
Yep.
Cheo Walker says Rivers. I get it. I understand. I wouldn't hate the pick there other than we're reaching a little bit according to our board, but according to, stick to the models board, not necessarily a reach. So we spent a lot of time on this pick, but I think we're going to do it. We're going to pull the trigger here on Blake Miller. He is a tackle, listed as a tackle out of Clemson. So the pick is in at 52. The Packers are going to take an offensive lineman, Blake Miller. So, Tim, we got our offensive lineman we needed, okay? So there is probably going to be your starting left guard, I would imagine, unless he played the right guard. Maybe you start him at right guard, and then you try to figure out who's going to play left guard. And you'll probably take another swing later in the draft if the board lined up there. So now moving on to pick 84. Look who's available, Tim.
Wow.
Brian Parker, Chandler
Moore, a lot
Rivers
of guys.
This is a no-brainer. We get Rivers too, guys. Look at this. He's sitting at 95, right? Chandler Rivers is there. We're picking at 84. Now this all of a sudden, Tim, becomes a quality pick, right? Like, where do we have Rivers at?
So you said in the 60s on our board, right?
77.
77.
So this is a no-brainer. We're going to go Chandler Rivers here, right? Does anybody disagree? How awesome is that? So, yeah, that's freaking great. Now, this is a great question here from NFW. Appreciate you, buddy. He says, where's Pons? When I did this before, I did 2 other mock drafts before to kind of get a feel for their mock draft base here. I got Pons with the 52nd pick both times. Now, I'll get raked over the coals on Twitter by Packers draft experts because they're saying, oh, he's too small. I don't care. Pons is a freaking dog. I would love to have D'Angelo Ponce play cornerback for the Packers, but he's gone now. Okay. So I love this, Tim. I love the way it's just shaking out. You go get Blake Miller, a top 50 pick on your board, and then you get Chandler Rivers is going to be great value here at 84 as well. You've got a cornerback to compete with Keyshawn Nixon, opposite of Trayvon Diggs. And now all of a sudden you're in a position where your two cornerbacks that were your starters last year might be your third and fourth best outside corner because you're going to have Bull play in the slot, right? We didn't even talk about Nate Hobbs. Well, we're treating Nate Hobbs like he is not going to take a year or two jump with the Packers and he's just going to be horrible. He may have something to say about playing corner once he's healthy as well, right? So how do you feel about Rivers here, man? You good with it?
Yeah, and the chat's with it too. Everybody's saying, let's do it. Slam dunk. Run the card.
Let's do it. This is where we'll start to speed up to it. I love this draft already, man. So at pick 84, the Green Bay Packers select Chandler Rivers, cornerback out of Duke. So now I feel good about what we've done on offensive line, corner. Now let's move along to defensive line and linebacker along with tight end. This is where it's going to get a little bit tricky. I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on this, but let's reset the board with defensive tackles. All right. Let's reset the board with linebackers. And then we're also going to add tight ends in as well. You know what, Tim? Let's include offensive line as well. What the heck? Let's just see what it shakes out to be. Yeah. We can still use another offensive lineman possibly. So at the top of the list, Jude Bowery, offensive tackle out of BC, Oscar Delp, tight end out of Georgia, Harold Perkins Jr. out of LSU, listed as an outside linebacker, Zane Durant, he's a 3-tech out of Penn State, Cage Casey, offensive tackle out of Boise State. That's at the top of the list there.
Zane Durant, where is he on our board?
Yeah, let me see. If you'll read those names off to me from top to bottom, I'll give them to you.
First one is Jude Bowery, BC.
103.
Okay. Oscar Delp out of Georgia, DELP.
179, so we're Jude Bowery still.
Harold Perkins Jr.
180.
And then Zane Durant, Penn State.
Durant, 334.
Ooh, never mind.
Yeah. Now, you notice Bo Stevens down there, Tim?
Yeah, I'm looking at him and Sam Hecht were some guys we had an eye on, but obviously I think with Hecht we're in the same thing. He's pretty much a pure center, right?
Right. That's the way it's been explained to me. So Bo Stevens is 86 here, guys. 86. That's wild. So you got Bo Stevens at 86 is carrying more value than Bowery, who was, what was he at 101 or whatever. So Bo Stevens would be the pick here at offensive line. How freaking awesome, boys, would it be to go in with Blake Miller at one guard as a rookie, right? And then you at the other, actually Blake Miller and Bo Stevens competing at one guard position and having Anthony Belton play opposite right guard as your second round pick last year. Hopefully he'll take a year or two jump. I'm feeling really good about this offensive line all of a sudden, man. I don't know about you. So
that's Stevens, where we want to be, right? We weren't feeling very good about it last season. So right. I'd like to go into this season feeling good about it.
Yeah, everybody says, hey, G Soda, Bo knows. Mike Superfan says, go Stevens. I think it would have to be there, right? That would have to be the guy.
And this is what you have to do, right? You have to draft for value, right? You have to look at your board and you got to take your heart out of it sometimes and just go by the numbers. I mean, he's a top 100 pick, and we're able to get him right here at 120.
That's just solid, dude. Linebacker, I want to isolate linebacker for just a second here, okay? Red Murdoch is one of our top guys, obviously. We've talked about him a lot out of Buffalo because of Emilio. Read those names off to me. I just want to make sure we're not overlooking a stack back here, Tim. Perkins, I've got. Okay, Perkins is 180.
Okay, Lander Barton.
Lander, I hardly know her. We don't even have a grade on him. Okay, so he's going to be undrafted most likely. He's on the list, but we don't have a grade for him. He's way down there. Okay?
Aiden Fisher out of Indiana. Hopefully, not collecting Social Security yet.
Exactly. Aiden Fisher, same thing. No grade yet. He's way down the list.
All right, so we got Murdoch already.
Red Murdoch is 110 on our board. So I think we've got a winner there at linebacker, right? So if we were to go linebacker, Tim, it would be Red Murdoch, but he's 110th on our board. That'd be a great pick at 120. However, Bo Stevens, I just like to kind of cross-check that. That makes sense.
Yeah, we had Stevens at what, 89, you said?
Yes, I think so. Let me see. BAOU Stevens, 86, actually.
86. Oh, my God. Run the card. Let's go.
Yeah. I just want to take one look here at D tackles, I'm just going through them real quick. K Parts 150, not a good enough value. Xavier, if I'm saying that right, Harris 194, not good enough.
Look
value.
at Mike Hebring. Stick to your board.
Exactly.
I love it.
That's what we're doing, Mike. I just want to make sure there ain't one that's sneaking down here. That I'll tell you one that comes to mind, and I've looked at this already, is Skylar Gill Howard. He's going to be coming up soon. We've got him at 121, Tim. Okay. Mm-hmm. And they're showing him at 161 on their ranking. Obviously, it'd be a reach in both scenarios here for us because Bo Stevens is the better pick. But if we're going to go get a defensive tackle, and they got him listed as a 5-tech, anybody who's listed as a 5-tech, I see them as a 3-tech, right? A 5-tech, you're obviously playing on the outside shoulder of the tackle. They can kick in between the guard and the tackle, right? It's just when you get into the 1-techs, unless it's a dominant player, that's where it maybe doesn't make a whole lot of sense to try to force them into a 3-tech role unless it's a nickel defense. So I just want to say that Skylar Gill Howard, if he's there after we make this pick, we're probably going to go get him, okay? But right now, we're going to go interior offensive lineman, Bo Stevens. So the pick is in, Tim, at pick 120. The Green Bay Packers are going to select guard out of Iowa, Bo Stevens. Gotta love his draft, dude. This is solid.
Let's go.
So you got all the offensive line we need. We're good to go there. Now we're looking at D tackle, linebacker, and tight end. We're at pick 58. D tackle, look who's there. Skylar Gill Howard. Love it. Absolutely.
Yeah, this is shaping up pretty nice.
Now, linebacker, Tim, Red Murdoch is still there. Okay. So what we've got it narrowed down to now are two players that we really like coming down the stretch is Skylar Gill Howard and Red Murdoch. So we're going to take the better available right now to make sure that gives us the best shot of getting them both. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
All right. So we're going to go with Skylar Gill Howard. Does anybody disagree with Skylar Gill Howard? Because I'm with Mike. I think there's a good chance, Mike, that
Murdoch might still be there. Yeah.
Yeah. He'll be there in the next round. I agree with that. So, with that being said, I think we're good with it, man. What do we think? We good with it?
I think the pick is in, man. Let's do it.
All right. With the 158th pick, Green Bay Packers are going to select defensive tackle Skylar Gill Howard out of Texas Tech. And now you got you a defensive lineman to help there with wide, a little bit of depth, a little bit of competition. So now we're looking at linebacker and tight end. We kind of neglected tight end. There was probably, oh my God, Tim, look at who's at the top. Are you kidding me?
Whoa.
I've probably been saying his name wrong, and I'm going to continue to say it wrong. I don't care. But this kid out of Houston, guys, Koziol, Kazoil is what I've been calling him. If you had to guess, Tim, where do you think he's ranked on our board?
On our board, I'm going to say 130.
We got him at 97.
Holy cow.
So now we got a problem. Houston, we have a problem. We talked about potentially taking Red Murdoch, right? Actually, Red Murdoch is gone, so we don't even have to make that decision now. John Michael Gillenborg is one that the Packers met with. Let's see where they got Gilly at. Gilly on the board is 129, so hands down, it's Tanner here. So I want to ask the chat. I need you guys, yes or no, to Tanner here as quick as possible. Murdoch is gone. So, Mike, again, why do we do this, right? You said Murdoch will be available next round. We were hoping he was. He's gone. Kind of shows us we're really pushing the scale once you get into the upper 100s, right? You know, closer to 200 pick, Red Murdoch probably going to be gone. So, how do we feel about Tanner here, boys? I need to know.
Yes,
chat.
yes. Bates says yes. Chad Inc. says yes.
Yeah.
Chester says, LOL, we should be that lucky.
Right. Yep. And here's the thing.
Says yes.
I think everybody's on board. This is awesome.
Mike says stick to the board again.
Always. So with Tanner, what do you get? You're getting a player that's going to be very, very similar to Luke Musgrave. He's not going to be a great blocking tight end, right? But here are his strengths, guys. Elite size at 6'7", creating mismatches. Okay. 23 career touchdowns. Red zone weapon is what he is. 61% contested catch rate. 94 catches at Ball State his junior year before he moved on to Houston. Okay. Top 3 in tight end receiving yards in 2025. Massive, and I mean massive catch radius. Ball skills for size. You know, sometimes those big guys, they don't have great ball skills. This dude's got ball skills for a 6'7" tight end. Senior Bowl acceptance, obviously performed at the Senior Bowl. Matter of fact, let me just take a quick look here and see exactly how he performed. Did he get a bonus? He did not get a bonus, but I do know he caught a touchdown. As soon as he caught that touchdown in practice, that was it was a beautiful catch, kind of toe tap catch in the back corner of the end zone. I immediately went and filled his profile out and tweeted it out. So Yeah, Senior Bowl obviously played there. Group of 5 All-American and the number 5 tight end according to Mel Kiper. We're getting a top 5 tight end.
Who in the hell is a Mel Kiper anyway?
We got to get that back. I'm sorry. We got to have that. I'll make that happen. I promise you. So this is a no-brainer, man. We're doing it. We're going to run the card. We get my boy. This is one of my draft crushes this year. Tanner Kazoil. All right. Tight end out of Houston with the 200th pick. Green Bay is going to go tight end here. So
nothing wrong with that. I like the comp to Musgrave. Also, we know Musgrave was not, the most gifted blocker early on, but I think he's gotten himself together enough as of late. He was blocking a lot better last year, and we're not asking guys like this to be an inline tight end. We're asking them to be a pass-catching target. So I like the pick.
Yeah, help chip a little bit, right? Maybe
bring him as long as you can chip, I'll take that.
Yeah, definitely. I'm eager to see, when he gets to the combine, if he tests well at 6'7", his stock's going to go through the roof. We may never see him at this pick, obviously. So now it gets really creative here. The only need that we've got listed is stack backer. Now, are we really expecting these guys to help too much? I don't know. Let's run through them. Tim, if you'll help me, I got the first one. Gentry. Okay. Gentry's at 339.
Jimmy Rolder, Rolder.
I ain't even going to say that one. That sounds too bad.
Rolder.
668. So obviously he doesn't have a grade. So we got him listed as undrafted here. Okay.
Xavier. Oh wait, this is outside backer. We looking stack backers only?
No, we go both because they don't have them listed as edge. So yeah, we're looking for both.
Xavier Story, Sorey Jr.
Yeah, 435 on our board.
Holy cow! No, thank you.
Right, so
Owen Heineke, Oklahoma Sooners.
He's 241. So you see, we definitely missed on stack back, right?
All right.
OBIs. Okay, this guy is 363, and then we'll go one more here. Elarms, right? Elarms. He's at 225. That would probably be our best pick so far, wouldn't it? Unless Gentry was. I think it would definitely be this Caleb Elarms would be the pick. So let me write him down so I don't forget him. And we're going to look at some other positions here as well because we don't want to pass up on a great player just because we're trying to fit a need here. Yeah. And again, I feel fairly comfortable with what we got, to be honest with you. Again, there was just bigger needs than stackbacker in my opinion. And who knows, maybe you can get Quay back in free agency, for a little bit less than that $10 million he was projected at. But right now it's going to be Elarms would be the stackbacker. Let's reset the board and just go all.
Look at running back.
Hey, let's take a look at running back real quick. Noah Whittington. Let's read these off real quick. Whittington. Oh, he's 193, Tim.
Okay.
Jaden Knott's way down there. I know that. Haynes is 349. Adam Randall is 342.
Desmond Reed, REID.
Last one we'll do here. Reed 202. That's a little bit better. So yeah, Noah Whittington would hands down be the better pick here at 193. But let's see how close it is now to that stack backer position we were just talking about. Right? Actually, I got to look at D tackle real quick too, just to see if my boy is there or not. He's already gone from Southeastern Louisiana. He's really high on obviously a smaller school. So clearing it off, stack backer we said was Elarms, right?
Yep.
So it comes down to him or the running back. He's 225. The running back is just inside the top 200 there, Tim. So for me, if you're going best available, you would go with the running back, Noah Whittington. How does the chat feel about it? Chat, would you rather take running back, Noah Whittington, or would you rather take linebacker, Elarms, or even though, like I said, Whittington is 193 on the board. He's higher on our board, but do we feel like, no, probably going to be similar to the same cluster there in terms of tiers of value? Maybe we go stack backer. I think I'm leaning towards stack back. I just want to see what the chat says here. So, oh wow, Mike says go Whittington. All right, stick to the board, right, Mike?
Yep. Chris says linebacker.
All right. William says running back. Okay.
Great point by Mike. We do. We possibly need a developmental type of running back now with the big question mark with Marshawn Lloyd, right?
Yep, absolutely. Chad Inc. says linebacker. I feel like linebacker is it just me or does it – let's see. Well, it's 1, 2, 3. I don't know. It's kind of split right now, isn't it? Chester says Whittington's a beast, so I think he's going Chester. Cheo's going linebacker. So it's pretty split. This is interesting, man. seeing that it's split.
Soder has spoken. Running back. Let's go.
Seeing that it's split, we're going to go with the higher on our board, and that would be running back. So we'll go Noah Whittington out of Oregon just to learn a little bit about him. Well, actually, there's nothing to learn. They don't have a card for him. So we're going to fly blind here and take.
That's how we know it's the steal of the draft, baby. Let's go.
And listen, I'll give you this information on him, okay? The reason he has a 194 on our board, so the consensus big board had him at 168. The PFF big board had him at 253. In 2025, he was the 63rd highest graded running back. That's a strong grade. So his PFF grade of 2025, it jumped from 256 in 24 to 63rd in 25. So he seems to be a bit of an ascending player there too. So that's a good sign. So let's do it. Let's go running back, Noah Whittington out of Oregon. All right. And we got one more pick, or actually two more picks because these 7th round picks. Look at this.
Pull up kicker. Where the hell's kicker on this joint?
Okay, let's see it.
Hanging around in the 7th round.
Look who's still there, Tim. Elarm.
Oh,
let's go ahead and nab him. Okay, so we got them both. That's a situation where we had to make the decision between two different guys, right? And we ended up getting them both. That's awesome. So we'll go linebacker out of TCU, Elarm's or. We have hit all of our needs, guys. We got cornerback. We got 2 offensive linemen. We got a defensive tackle. We got a linebacker. We got a tight end. With the 254th pick, we just went and got our linebacker in Caleb Elarm's or. Now, we got one more pick to play with. I'm going to do this, guys. Y'all might get mad at me. I'm going to do it anyway. Quarterback. Tim, hear me out here, okay? Hear me out, sir. Who is our backup quarterback? Because we know that Malik Willis is going to be gone, right? It's going to be our boy from Cincinnati, played for the Falcons. I've already missed his name. Chat, help me out. Who is our backup right now?
Desmond Ridder.
So, listen to these grades that we've got on some of these quarterbacks. Taylon Green out of Arkansas, we got him at 128. Okay? Keep that in mind. And he's not going to be the best one, but you can see that's great value, especially for a quarterback.
Especially at 257.
Right. Altmaier's in the 200s, nowhere near. Cole Payton is so interesting to me, Tim. We got him at 153. So obviously still Taylon Green would be the better pick here according to our board. But Cole Payton won the MVP for the Senior Bowl, right? If I remember correctly, or at least he got some kind of major award. It's a major award. So he got the 8-point bonus there. All right. His grade is a 128.7. We got him in the 153 spot. He was the highest graded quarterback in all of college football, according to PFF in 25. Now, he played for North Dakota State, right?
Who's our new wide receivers coach?
Interesting. Very, very interesting. So, again, where are they projecting him at? 240 on their board. There's a chance that he might go undrafted and you could sign him. This is the one that's going to blow everybody's mind. This guy right here, Diego Pavia. Okay, does anybody know anything about Diego Pavia other than the fact that he's 5'9"? And I know this is where we're getting in fantasy land here, okay? But with Diego Pavia, if you had to guess, where do you think he's at on our board, Tim?
Is he inside the top 200?
He is.
150.
He's at 104.
Wow.
Now, again, are the Packers going to draft a 5'9" quarterback? It's not going to happen, right? Just ain't going to happen. And I've been very outspoken on Diego Pavia, okay? He has a chip on his shoulder. There's a fine line between cocky and confident. Let me put it this way. I think he played at New Mexico State, or maybe he played for a team that played at New Mexico State. He snuck into their weight room and pissed on their weight benches. Like, that's the type of dude this guy is. He's a scumbag. I'm just going to be honest. There's no allegedly here. I live in Tennessee. I've heard the stories. Diego Pavia is not a good human being. But damn, when you look at his grades on our board, man, 2023, he was 47th at quarterback. 24, he jumped to 21st. 25, he jumped to 5th. He had the Vanderbilt Commodores. Vandy, a medical school like this. Vanderbilt's never been good at football my whole life, okay? Vanderbilt's that one team that Kentucky could always beat on the roster. Now that's changed. They were literally in contention to make the college football playoff. And I'm telling you, I'm not exaggerating. It's because of Diego Pavia. And again, they ran an offense that's very gimmicky, right? It's not a pro-style offense, so that's something that's going to hurt his draft stock. I'm not saying we should take him. I'm just saying at some point in the draft, we're going to get to the point where we're going to go, who's going to take Diego Pavia? Is he going to go undrafted? Is somebody going to invite him to camp?
Sure.
Mike Superfan says, can Pavia return punts? I don't think he can, Mike. I don't, but I could be wrong. All right. So
I do like his point, Mike's point also about, Peyton, when we're comparing these two.
Yes.
Peyton's more of a dual threat kind of guy. So that, for what that's worth.
I do like, though, that we're sitting here in the 7th round and we actually have options for a potential backup quarterback. Like Joey Aguilar is not going to be available. He is. It looks like he's going to win that court case. I don't know if you kept up with that or not, Tim, but he's going back to college again. Basically, what that is, they got to get a restraining order on the NCAA. They file a lawsuit and they have to grant them another year. And that's going to court in downtown Knoxville. And it's hilarious. It got mentioned on the news the other day. They said the judge that's overseeing that to approve or disapprove Joey Aguilar going back to the University of Tennessee. Yes, he's the judge is a UT alum. So it's like, yeah, he's going to be playing college football this year probably. So it's just hilarious how that's gotten going. Now, one that's really interesting here is Gronowski. Okay. Actually, let me check Miller Moss. Let's do our due diligence. He's 278. So Gronowski, Tim, I want to say he's a little bit lower on our board, but Gronowski was Iowa's quarterback. He's the 162 spot, but he won the East-West Shrine Bowl MVP. Okay. So that really pops to you. His PFF grades in 23 was 4th, 49th, 59th. So he's gotten worse in terms of grades and rankings, but still, those are solid grades. You see consistency. You just don't see that ascending player. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So that's a guy that if he goes undrafted, I wouldn't mind him to sign him. Same thing with Diego Pavia. Invite him into camp, whatever you got to do. I mean,
a lot of these guys might just be camp arms, right? We might be having a camp arm conversation in general, but you still want the best one that you can get your hands on, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So here's what I want to ask the chat. I know we wasted a lot of time talking quarterback. Did anybody grab your all's attention at quarterback to go, hey, that's worth spending a 7th round pick on? And who knows, maybe you catch lightning in a bottle and you find the next. Can we be honest? The final pick of the draft was Brock freaking Purdy, and he's got a franchise quarterback contract now. Yep. So that's why I want to put a little bit of thought into this.
I'd go with Peyton off my gut. I'm just saying Peyton, but what does the chat think?
Yeah, Tim said it. I want to give Tim credit here. Tim, what is it? Tim Lidicote. I hope I'm saying that right. He had that topped out right as I said it. So he didn't hear me say it. He said Purdy was the last pick in the draft, right? So who would it be if we're going to have some fun here and go with the quarterback, right?
Coach Lynn says Peyton.
Yeah.
North Dakota, baby, alum. Let's go.
It looks like Peyton is probably the guy, right? Cole Peyton. Let's go back to quarterbacks again real quick. And we could probably go through all these positions and find another player that like, hey, that makes sense here. But I think it would be worth it to take a swing here, man, to take a swing on a quarterback.
I like the AC. Just don't think I want Pavia anywhere near our locker room.
Oh, boy. Or, you know what, if he does come in the locker room, what I would do is walk him in and have him go up to Nas Stackhouse and go, hey, here's Nas Stackhouse. He's going to be checking in on you from time to time. You know what I mean? Twist his little 5'9" ass up and throw him in a hamper in the corner somewhere. You know what I'm saying?
I love it. Yeah. Introduce him to Nas Stackhouse and Escalade Belton. See how that goes.
Right. So I think that's what we're going to do, man. We're going to have a little fun, and we're going to go quarterback here, Tim. You okay with it?
I'm okay with it.
All right.
Best time to take one is when you don't need one.
And you know what? If you draft Cole Peyton and you have to cut him and put him on the practice squad, imagine him being your practice squad quarterback. He's mobile. Let me explain why that's important, guys. When you play a mobile quarterback, let's say we're going up against Lamar Jackson, or we're going up against I'm trying to think of another decent mobile quarterback that we might. Caleb Williams, right? Caleb Williams likes to run around scramble. You have him run the scout team, and he can mimic that. He can duplicate Caleb's ability to move around, and it's just really, really important to have those type of guys on your practice squad. So I really, really, really like this, man. We're going to go, Tim, the pick is in at pick 257. We're going to go with quarterback out of North Dakota State, Cole Peyton. I love that pick, by the way. Dang, look at that. We got an A-.
We got an A- for our whole offseason grade. Look at that.
So, and again, what's the downside, guys? We did some restructure. We pushed some future money out, right? Future dead money of $18.7 million. We'll handle that on down the road. Again, I'm not overly concerned about that. We finished right on the threshold of that extra space we need to operate with. Now, we'll probably do another future restructure and get that around 10 or 12 million. So you got even more money to operate with there as well. But this is what I love about this site. Look at the recap. The cuts, Elgton Jenkins, right? Freed up $19.5 million. Aaron Banks freed up $4.2 this year and a boatload next year. We restructured Rashan Gary and freed up $11.2 million. Restructured Xavier McKinney and Josh Jacobs and freed up a total of $7.5 million. In free agency, we went and signed Trayvon Diggs and Tyler Linderbaum. And then in the draft, you went and got Blake Miller, a top 50 talent. Chandler Rivers, a borderline top 50 talent. He's kind of in the 70s, 80s. So there's you a cornerback that could potentially start out of Duke. You went and got Bo Stevens, who's going to compete for a starting job alongside Blake Miller and your second-round pick last year in Anthony Belton to play guard. Obviously, Bo Stevens coming out of Iowa. Skylar Gill-Howard, a 5-tech defensive tackle that you could potentially play there alongside Devontae White. He's going to be competing in the defensive tackle room. Tanner Kazoil, a physical just freak, 6'7", a wide receiver-esque tight end that you could work into the rotation along with Luke Musgrave. Still try to bring back your guys and John Fitzpatrick and Josh Wally and these guys, whichever one of those that are healthy, right? Get them back in the fold so they can kind of play that move tight end for you. Noah Whittington gives you a little bit of an insurance policy and some depth at the running back position. You get Caleb Elarms so you put another stack backer in the room where we lost Quay Walker. So it's going to be Tyron Hopper and Isaiah McDuffie fighting it out for that second nickel linebacker spot. And then whoever loses is going to be your third stack backer in your 4-3. And then, of course, Cole Payton is going to be your practice squad quarterback. Who knows? Maybe he beats Desmond Ridder out.
That's a good problem to have, right?
Yep.
You either got a hell of a practice squad quarterback, or you got a guy that went out there and stole the job from Desmond Ridder. So we'll see.
Absolutely, love it, man, love it. So here's what's really cool: when you go share my draft, I think there's a way that you can actually do the image. Check this out, Tim. If it pops up for you guys, I don't know if it popped up or not. It probably didn't, did it? Okay, so I'm going to screen grab it here, and we're going to keep it. This site is absolutely awesome. You guys have got to go check it out. Again, this is sticktothemodel.com. Okay. And make sure you guys go give them a follow over on X. So I'm going to throw it up here in if we got room here on the memory. I think we do. If not, I'll free it up real quick and then we'll wrap this big bear up. I'm supposed to be downstairs building a fire so we can watch the cats play tonight. I'm in trouble. This
is one of the better tools though, for sure. Big shout out
awesome.
To Stick to the Model. This is incredible.
Yeah. So check it out, Tim. Look how it does this, man. So now you get this. There's your whole breakdown of the offseason. You got your cuts, your restructures, how much money you freed up, right? Your free agent signings and what deals they got, and then all your draft picks right there on the card. Is that not awesome?
And look, we're 17 million over.
Well, no, that's what we started.
That's what started with.
Yeah, we started with the 10.7, right? And in the
final, we're in the range we wanted to be.
Absolutely.
We wanted it 6 to 10 million buffer zone.
Yep. 6.7 is what we ended at. And again, you get into this offseason, right? Restructure another contract or two, free up that money. Who knows? Maybe you get to camp and you make a surprise cut and maybe Keyshawn doesn't make the roster. You cut him, you free up $5 million, depending on when his roster bonus actually hits, what that date is, right? So That's another way of looking at it. So yeah, regardless, this is what I was saying, guys. A month and a half, 2 months ago, when people were talking about the Packers are screwed, they have no cap, they can't do anything. We just troubleshot this in less than an hour, right at an hour, and we literally walked through the whole process and showed you how there's nothing dramatic here, right, Tim? I think we would all agree we would rather have Tyler Linderbaum starting at center than Elgton Jenkins, okay? And I think we would all agree that we would rather have Blake Miller or Bo Stevens win the job for guard as opposed to keeping Aaron Banks. So this is nothing like crazy dramatic, man. I love this, man. It's really, really
I do too.
Really interesting. So,
and we hit all our needs in the draft as well.
Yeah. Oh, God, Chester C. just gave me the shakes over here. He says, in a minute, Clayton's going to hear the dreaded words, quote, never mind. I already took care of it, LOL. So I'll go down there and there'll be a fire built and I'll be in trouble. That's what's going to happen. So, Unbelievable. So if you guys are watching this back later, let us know in the comments, what do you think about that offseason? I was excited to do this. This is the first time we've ever been able to do a show and walk through in orderly fashion each stage, the restructure period, right, the free agency period, and the draft period. I want to thank everybody in the chat. The feedback y'all have given us in here today was absolutely awesome. Was it not, Tim? Just kind of bouncing ideas off each other.
Real time. I love it. Great work in the chat, everybody.
It was awesome. So we'll get all these videos edited. That way, if you came in late, like, what are you talking about? Y'all did free agency. I'm going to get those edited where you can just go watch those clips. I'm trying to make it as convenient for everybody as possible in that regard. I need everybody to do me a big favor, okay? Smash that like button so it helps the YouTube stream. And also, wherever you get your podcasts, go search Packer Fan Total Access. We've got an overflow channel outside of Packernet. They still got our content, okay? But there's going to be extra content that he doesn't need on his site that's kind of clustering up over there. We're going to have that overflow on our own podcast network as well. So that's something that's now launching, okay? So if you guys would, go give us a review over there and make sure you subscribe to wherever you get your podcasts. We're on iTunes. We're on Spotify. We're on iHeartRadio. We're on Podcast Republic. Everywhere you get podcasts, we should be up and running. So, Tim, appreciate your time, man.
Appreciate you too. Don't forget, hit up the Patreon too as well, guys.
Absolutely. Yeah. Great call. The best way to support what we do here is patreon.com/Packer Fan Total Access. You'll get access to all this information that we cover. Most of the time when you see the articles I put on screen, I put them over there first. So you guys have first dibs on it. I'm going to share this image over there too and get everybody's take in there. So YouTube comments, let us know what you think. If you're in the Patreon group, take the conversation to the Patreon group and tell us what you would have done different. Maybe something you liked or didn't like about what we did there.
That's one of the added bonuses of being a member on Patreon is that even when the show ends, the conversation doesn't. You can just jump in the chat, talk ball all day.
Absolutely. So if I forget to put that in Patreon, you guys make sure you remind me, okay? I've got the screen grab and I'm going to get these edited and get everything out. So greatly appreciate everybody. Hit that like button for us on the way out. That's Tim. I'm Clayton. This is PTA. You guys are absolutely awesome. We will see y'all tomorrow.
Here we go.
Bye, guys.